Options trading explained simply. Beginner strategies only. This is Create Wealth 101. I'm Lindsay. This video is for education only, not speculation, not day trading, and not gambling. Options are advanced tools and should only be used after you understand investing fundamentals. An option is a contract that gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell a stock at a certain price by a certain date. There are two types of options. There's a call option, where you bet on the price going up. That's bull. Then there's the put option, where you bet on the price going down. That's bear. You're trading contracts, not shares. So why do most people lose with options? Well, let's be honest. Too much leverage, short time frames, emotional trading, and lack of education. So let's break each one of these down. Too much leverage just simply means that you're out too much. You're out of the money, as we say in the options market. So essentially, you've got too much to lose and too little to gain. Short time frames. Well, the market never moves fast. So if you set your expiration date too short, you're going to be bound to lose because you need to allow the market to do what it naturally does. Emotional trading. This would have to do with basically taking a look at an option and saying impulsively that you want to buy that. And of course, most importantly, lack of education. Options are complex, but they're not rocket science. You do need to understand the basic fundamentals of put and calls before you actually engage in the market. Options magnify mistakes faster than stocks. So let's go over strategy 1, covered calls. That's a beginner favorite. And so what is it? Let's say you own 100 shares of a stock. You sell a call option on it. And remember, the call option is the right to buy. You collect income, which is the premium. The premium basically is a cost that somebody pays to you in order to buy the right to buy. So let me break this down a little further. So you have these 100 shares. You say to somebody, I think that Tesla's going to go up. The person next to you says, I think Tesla is going to go down. What the person next to you is paying you money for is because what they think is going to happen is the stock will go up. You will set a strike price, which is the price that you're selling the stock at. Let's say $40 a share, and they will then get a deal. So let's play out the whole scenario now. So you own 100 shares of Tesla, you sell a call option, you accept an $800 premium. The person who gives you the premium says, okay, now it's $40 right now, but if Tesla goes up, I still get it at $40. That's what I paid for. So let's say Tesla goes through the moon. Well, guess what? You still have to sell that stock at that. So why is this strategy safer? Well, first, you already own the stock. Second, income even if the stock stays flat. So this is where the numbers game comes in. So let's say Tesla goes up to $50 a share. Well, yeah, you're out $500 because essentially you had to sell for $10 less your stock. But you made $800. So your overall net profit from the entire transaction is $300. And of course, it's a lower risk than naked options. And naked options are just essentially saying there's no coverage. Essentially, you're just going in like gangbusters. And you're just saying, I'm going to make this bet and this is going to happen. So covered calls turn long-term holdings into income producers. So what is this strategy best for? Blue chip stocks? Great. Blue chip stocks, they rarely are volatile. So essentially, you can bet on them and be pretty sure that your bet's going to be right. Side income. Of course, you're accepting premiums and you're making whatever you make off the sale of the difference of the stock differential. And of course, call options are always best for conservative investors. Now, here's where things get a little complicated. I have always found that puts are much more complex than call options. So what is a put? You sell a put option You set aside cash to buy the stock if assigned, and you collect the premium. But what are you really selling? Well, this is where it gets a little wonky. You are selling the right to sell. Okay. So let's say again, using Tesla as an example, you essentially have Tesla and the person next to you is Bear. And he says, I think Tesla's going to go down. You say, no, I think Tesla's going up. So what you're selling is that even if Tesla goes down, they have to buy that stock. You have to buy that stock from them at that strike price. So let's do a scenario. So Tesla is at $40. You buy a put option. In the put option, you say, I'm going to pay you $800 for the right to sell. The person accepts. You pay that person $800. Now, Tesla goes up to $50 a share. Well, guess what? You are only going to have to pay, or that person is going to only have to buy from you $40 a share because you sold the right to sell. The right to sell the stock. So why is this conservative? Well, you're willing to own the stock. You get paid while waiting, and you buy the shares at a discount. And this is how patient investors get paid to wait. So let's look at long calls, speculative. What is it? You buy a call option, there's limited loss, you get that premium, and there's higher upside potential. This is the strategy most beginners lose money on. It's only suitable for small amounts, money you can afford to lose, and high conviction ideas. So this is what you shouldn't do. Don't do naked calls or puts. Most experienced investors always hedge their options with a put or a call. You buy a call, you hedge it with a put. You buy a put, you hedge it with a call. This is how you can't lose. Weekly expiration trading. Again, we need long time frames to let stocks do what they naturally do. All-in bets. This is the worst thing you can do. That's where you basically throw it all in. You're completely throwing in all the money. That's never going to work. And borrowed money. You should never be betting on options with borrowed money. If someone promises fast money with options, walk away. So how do options fit into wealth building? Well, let's tie it back to our philosophy. Options are not the foundation of wealth. They're a tool on top of a solid portfolio. Let's go back through the hierarchy we spoke about in the previous video. First, you have your 401k, your IRA. Then you have your annuity. Then you have your IUL. And then after that, you can start to supplement with things like options. And where do they belong? Well, they belong in the category of income generation, risk management, small percentage of portfolio, protection first, growth second, leverage last. Key takeaways. Options don't make you wealthy. Discipline does. Used correctly, options enhance a plan. Used incorrectly, they destroy one. If you want me to do a deeper dive on covered calls or cash secured puts, comment options and subscribe. This was Lindsay with Create Your Wealth 101.